The Chicago suburbs are emptying out, home prices are barely recovering, and you have to drive everywhere, right? Wrong, dead wrong, and while a lot of people keep repeating these old stories, the real numbers show something very different today. And here's the twist. The same suburbs people are still avoiding because of outdated ideas are turning into the biggest opportunities. What's actually happening could change everything you think you know about suburban Chicago. And I'm Brandon.blankenship, a Chicagoland realtor helping people just like you move in and around the Chicago suburbs. And I want to be your real estate resource of choice. So whether you're making a move next week or next year, you can click the link down below in the description and we can get connected so we can chat about your next move. But ready to be surprised by what's happening with Chicago's suburban population? The numbers tell a very different story from what most people believe. People say the suburbs are dying and losing residents, and you've probably heard the same talk about a steady decline. But here's the thing. The actual data shows the opposite. Far suburbs like Plainfield have added nearly 4,000 residents since 2020, leading the region in growth. And get this, Hampshire has the fastest growth of any Illinois town with more than 1,000 residents, up 9% in just 1 year. That's almost 1 in 10 new residents every year. The sort of jump you expect in thriving markets, not struggling ones. And when we look at these population trends, we can see they are driving the downtown revitalization projects we will explore later. Places like Glen Ellen are putting $20 million into improvements that are completely changing these communities. And here's what's shocked me. Cook County and the Collier counties added 64,000 residents from 2023 to 2024, and that's an impressive jump in just 1 year. People aren't leaving the suburbs. They're moving here faster than ever. And this isn't just a temporary jump. These growth patterns are showing up across multiple suburbs. Young families are choosing suburban life over the city at rates we haven't seen before. So what does this surge really mean for the housing market? Wait until you see the price jumps that almost no one expected. But first, if you just want to know what's really happening in our market, hit the subscribe button down below. I post new videos every week with real numbers on home prices, neighborhood breakdowns, and insider tips that most agents will never share. This channel is all about giving you the facts without the fluff so you can make smart choices about where to live. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as leave a like. Some think the suburban housing market is still slow. The truth is it's growing faster than the city in many places. While people worried about a slowdown, look what really happened. River Forest home prices rose about 24% last year, hitting a median of 980,000, 24% in a single year. That's not a small recovery. That's explosive. And it's not just happening there. Oak Park prices climbed over 18% to 623,000, while Forest Park jumped more than 19% to 400,000. We're talking about major shifts here, and they're showing up everywhere. Keep these appreciation rates in mind because in a bit, you'll see how rising values are opening up opportunities in suburbs most people are still overlooking. The kind of smart buyers are getting into it before everyone else catches on. The cause is simple: supply and demand. More people want to live in these suburbs than there are homes for sale. The population growth we just talked about is adding real pressure to the market. But here's what most people miss. It's not just happening in high-priced suburbs. Middle-income areas are seeing the same trend. Forest Park's median price is still under 500,000, but it's growing fast. This creates opportunities for buyers who understand what's happening. A suburb that feels affordable today might not stay that way for long. The appreciation rate in these areas are matching and often beating city numbers. Suburban real estate isn't safe, slow market people assume it is. And now let's talk about a change that's completely transforming daily life in these communities. A transportation shift that's making car dependence a thing of the past. Here's the thing, living in the suburbs no longer means being stuck in your car all day. The truth might surprise you. Regional transit ridership went up 11% last year, reaching about 360 million rides. That's not what you'd expect if everyone had to drive everywhere. More people are using public transportation than ever. This push for better transit ties directly to the economic development boom we'll cover shortly. Those 23,100 new jobs coming to the region are located near these transit hubs, creating a cycle where more jobs and better transit fuel each other. Metro has also simplified its fares and is testing all-day regional service. This means more frequent trains and easier connections. The old rush hour only schedule is fading fast. And here's the big picture. There's a $9.4 billion program for transit upgrades over the next 4 years, and that's almost $10 billion going into making suburban transit better. We're talking about more than basic fixes here. It's complete transformation. The CTA now serves 35 suburban towns with rail and bus service. this. In the right suburb, you have options. You're not locked into driving for everything. These changes are shifting how people see suburban life, and you can live outside the city and still get to downtown Chicago with ease. A commute that used to take an hour by car now takes about 30 minutes by train. Now, let's look at schools, because the changes there might be the most surprising of all. It used to be that only a handful of suburbs had top schools, what people thought, and that's changed in a big way. Glenbrook High School District 225 is now ranked number 2 in the Chicago area by niche for 2025. That's elite education right in the suburbs. New Trier Township keeps getting national attention for its programs. Barrington Community Unit School District 220 is ranked number 9 in the region, and these results are no accident. They show years of consistent excellence. Better schools are also boosting home values, and as you'll see later, some up-and-coming districts still have homes at prices that haven't caught up with the demand. Lake Forest and Naperville schools continue to hold A+ ratings with more programs than ever. The opportunities for students in suburban Chicago are world-class, but here's the real shift. It's not just the usual high performers anymore. More districts are hitting excellence every single year. The competition between them is raising standards for everyone. Schools are also adapting to today's world. STEM programs, college partnerships, and career-focused classes are standard now. Students are earning more than good grades. They're getting ready for real-world jobs. And these districts attract top teachers from across the country. So when you combine great teachers with strong community support, you get higher test scores and more students going to college. And it's not just about education. The job market in the suburbs has changed in ways that few people saw coming, and it's transforming daily life. Forget the idea that the best jobs are in the city of Chicago. The Chicago suburbs are in the middle of an economic boom that's creating thousands of professional opportunities right where people live. If you still think suburban Chicago has few jobs or little growth, this will change your mind. 2 years ago, the Chicago metro area saw 163 pro-business decisions. We're talking about more than just keeping pace here. This is a big growth, and new companies are setting up shop. Those decisions turned into real results. There were about 115 business expansions and over 45 companies entering the market for the first time. Together, they created 23,100 jobs, and these aren't low-paying positions either. Many are professional careers with room to grow. These businesses' gains connect directly to the downtown revitalization we'll talk about next. In some suburbs, major transit-oriented projects have turned downtown areas into lively spaces that can rival city neighborhoods. The impact is huge. Those new jobs brought in about $1.9 billion in worker earnings. And most of that money stays local, creating even more growth in suburban communities. The job market is also strong. Metro unemployment dropped to 6.6% this year, which is lower than the national average. That means people can find work and businesses can find workers. So why this is happening? Companies are realizing that the suburbs offer big advantages over the city. Costs are lower, parking is easier, and they can tap into skilled suburban workforce. And it's not just the types of businesses you might expect. Yes, there's still manufacturing and retail, but now we're also seeing tech companies, healthcare systems, and professional services choosing suburban locations. For residents, this means you don't have to commute downtown to get a great job. Professional opportunities are right in your own community, and that changes the whole work-life balance. Speaking of changes though, the upgrades to infrastructure right now are the largest we've seen in decades. They're laying the groundwork for even more growth in the future. The infrastructure upgrades happening across the Chicago suburbs aren't just quick fixes. This is a multi-billion-dollar modernization that will set these communities up for decades of growth. While some people worried about aging infrastructure, local governments have been investing heavily. Cook County alone set aside $1.2 billion for transportation improvements in 2025. This goes far beyond patching potholes. It's full modernization. I'm curious, have you noticed any of these infrastructure upgrades in your area? Drop a comment below and let me know which projects are making the biggest difference where you live right now. And the Central Tri-State Tollway is a good example. Between 2018 and 2027, it's gained $4 billion in upgrades. It serves about 300,000 vehicles a day, and the improvements are making a real difference in traffic flow and commute times. These infrastructure projects also connect directly to affordability advantages we'll cover later. In some suburbs, the total cost of living creates financial opportunities you simply can't match in the city. O'Hare 21, the airport modernization project, still has over $8 billion in construction ahead. And when one of the busiest airports in the world gets better, the entire region benefits. It means easier travel, more business, and more tourism. And even smaller towns are getting major updates. West Chicago, for example, spent about $940,000 on roadway repairs last year. Upgrades like these add to the quality of life for residents, and it's not just about roads. Utilities are also being upgraded. We're seeing new fiber internet and smart grid technology across the suburbs. Internet speeds now match what you'll find downtown, making remote work easier. The scale of these projects is unlike anything before. Past programs focus on repairs, and these focus on expansion and modernization. The goal is to build infrastructure ready for growth, not just to meet the current needs. And it's happening on every level. Water systems, power grids, and telecom networks are all being improved at the same time. When everything is upgraded together, it draws in new residents and businesses, creating a cycle of investment and growth. Coming up, we'll look at how these upgrades are helping transform suburban downtowns into vibrant, walkable destinations. Suburban downtowns have changed in a big way. They've gone from quiet main streets to busy, walkable centers that can match the energy of city neighborhoods. If you haven't visited one lately, you're missing out. New mixed-use buildings now blend shops, restaurants, and housing to create lively community hubs. Forget strip malls. These spots are made for walking, shopping, and dining all in one place. One suburb invested $20 million in new train station with better safety, easier access, and a pedestrian tunnel. That upgrade sparked a wave of new growth downtown, bringing in more shops, housing, and restaurants. Other suburbs are updating transit and pedestrian plans to keep the momentum going. Projects are in motion around train stations and major roads, and the improvements will continue for years. Some towns have relocated stations to make way for bigger, multi-phase developments, and they've invested in walkable streets and new retail. We're talking about transformations planned to last for decades, not short-term touch-ups. Restaurants and entertainment venues are also growing. Larger suburbs lead the way, but the smaller towns are using the same playbook. Even new casinos and event spaces are drawing people in. Cultural spots like the theaters, museums, and festival grounds are now common. These downtowns host events that attract visitors from all over the region. Better lighting, safer sidewalks, and well-designed public spaces make these areas more inviting. People aren't just passing through these areas anymore. They're choosing to spend time here. And it's not only about the buildings. Local business districts are now getting stores and restaurants that used to open up only in the city. More suburban downtowns are turning into destinations, and now let's bust the biggest myth of all, that suburban life has to be expensive. Even with all the growth and upgrades we've covered, many Chicago suburbs are still surprisingly affordable. But to find the best deals, you have to look at the full picture. The median home price in the Chicago metro hit almost $380,000 in May 2025, and that's up 5.5% from last year. But it's still far below prices in coastal cities. You get appreciation without the extreme jump that can shut out middle-class buyers. And here's something most people don't expect. Inventory went up about 3% compared to the previous year. More homes for sale means buyers have more choice and stronger negotiating power. The intense bidding wars we saw in the past years are easing. Starter home markets are popping up in the suburbs that used to be overlooked, and these areas are now giving first-time home buyers a way in. Smart buyers are finding value before the rest of the market catches on. Property taxes also vary a lot by district. Some areas give you great schools and city services for less tax than you'd expect. The tax rate alone doesn't tell the full story. The total cost of owning a home can be lower than living in the city. Utilities often cost less, and maintenance for a single-family home can be more predictable than condo fees. Many people only focus on the purchase price, but the bigger picture is a lifestyle. More space, top-rated schools, and easier parking all add value you can't ignore. And with the appreciation we're seeing, buyers today are setting themselves up to build long-term wealth. Equity from rising home values can be the base for future financial security. Quality of life matters too. Having more room for your family, strong schools for your kids, and outdoor spaces you can enjoy, those things go beyond what you might see in your monthly budget. And if you're still going by the old picture of the Chicago suburbs, that they're shrinking, too expensive, built for cars, and kind of dull, you're missing the biggest change in decades. Billions have gone into new roads, transit, and other infrastructure. Schools across the region are getting better, and new businesses are bringing thousands of jobs. The Chicago suburbs today are nothing like they were in the past. The numbers prove it, and the momentum is only building. If these facts about the Chicago suburbs have you thinking about a move, I'd be happy to help you look at your options. Check the pinned comment or description for the link to fill out if you plan to buy or sell in the next few months or next year. The market is moving fast, and having someone who knows these neighborhoods inside and out can make a big difference. And if you want to know what other agents won't tell you about living in these suburbs, click the video on your screen right now. I break down the hidden costs and trade-offs that most agents gloss over. It's the information you need before making any big decisions about suburban living. I'll see you guys on the next video.